Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Dear children and respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We hope you're doing well. Welcome back to yet another beautiful session with our Sayyid Farhat Abbas, inshallah. He will continue his discussion on the question that we raised yesterday. Can God create a stone that he cannot lift himself? So he will inshallah move on towards the next part of the answer to the question. Discussion started off with whether the question is valid, with the validity or the rationality of the question, and then went into the paradox. And inshallah, we will conclude the discussion tonight. So hope you all will stay with us. If you have any questions or any answers that you want to share with us, please do use the chat, as well as we appreciate if you want to come to the mic as well. Raise your hand, we can accommodate that as well. Thank you so much. So let's begin the program with Dua Iftitah, inshallah, and move on to the next part. Jazakallah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma inni aftatihu ath-thana'a bihamdik wa anta musaddidun lis-sawabi bimannik wa ayqantu annaka anta arhamur rahimin fi mawdhi'i al-'afwi war-rahmah wa ashaddu al-mu'aqibin في موضع النكال والنقمة وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي وأجب يا رحيم دعوتي وأقل يا غفور عثرتي. فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها وهموم قد كشفتها وعثرة قد أقلتها ورحمة قد نشرتها وحلقة بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مضاد له في ملكه ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاشي في الخلق أمره وحمده الظاهر بالكرم مجده الباسط بالجود يده الذي لا تنقص خزائنه ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرما إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير مع حاجة بي إليه عظيم وغناك عنه قديم وهو عندي كثير وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي وصفحك عن ظلمي وسترك على قبيح عملي وحلمك عن كثير جرمي عندما كان من خطئي وعمدي. أطمعني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك الذي رزقتني من رحمتك وأريتني من قدرتك وعرفتني من إجابتك فصرت أدعوك آمنا وأسألك مستأنسا لا خائفا ولا وجلا مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك. فإن أبطأ عني أتبت بجهلي عليك ولعل الذي أبطأ عني هو خير لي لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلم أر مولا كريما أصبر على عبد اللئيم منك علي يا رب إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك، وتتحبب إلي فأتبغض إليك، وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك، كأن لي التطول عليك. فلم يمنعك ذلك من الرحمة لي والإحسان إلي والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك، فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك، إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تباركت وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادله، ولا شبيه يشاكله، ولا ضجير يعاضده، قهر بعزته الأعزاء وتواضع لعظمته العظماء، فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أنادي ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا عصي، ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجاري، فكم من موهبة هنيئة قد أعطاني، وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونقة قد أراني، وأذكره مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه ولا يغلق بابه ولا يرد سائله ولا يخيب آمله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويضع المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. الحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الهاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضع حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض وعمارها وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق ويطعم ولا يطعم ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم صل على علي أمير المؤمنين وصي رسول رب العالمين عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين. وصل على سبطي الرحمة إمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي، حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم صل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر، وحفه بملائكتك المقربين، وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك، استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله، مكن له دينه الذي ارتضيته له، أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا، يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به، وانصره وانتصر به، وانصره نصرا عزيزا، وافتح له فتحا يسيرا، واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم اظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بك الإسلام وأهله، وتذل بك النفاق وأهله، وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك، وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا، وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شعثنا، واشعب به صدعنا، وارتق به فتقنا، وكثر به قلتنا، واعزز به ذلتنا، واغن به عائلنا، واقض به مورمنا، واجبر به فقرنا، وسد به خلتنا، ويسر به عسرنا، وبيض به وجوهنا، وفك به أسرانا، وأنجح به طلبتنا، وانجز به مواعيدنا، واستجب به دعوتنا، وأعطنا به سؤلنا، وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا، وأعطنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين. اشف به صدورنا، واذهب به غيظ قلوبنا، واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك، إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله، وغيبة ولينا، وكثرة عدونا، وقلة عددنا، وشدة الفتن بنا، وتظاهر الزمان علينا. فصل على محمد وآله، وعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجله، وبضر تكشفه، ونصر تعزه، وسلطان حق تظهره، ورحمة منك تجللناها، وعافية منك تلبسناها، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمद वाजिल फरजहुम। मैं अपने तमाम मोमिनीन मोमिनात से बरादरान ख़ाहरान से इल्तिमास करूँगा कि आज के प्रोग्राम के लिए हमारे साथ जिस बिरादर और ख़ाहर ने ताउन किया है उनके मरहूमीन के अरवाह के इसाले सवाब के लिए एक मरतबा सूरा अल-फातिहा और 3 मरतबा सूरह इखलास की तिलावत फरमा दीजिए इंशाल्लाह। और उसके बाद आगा मुहतरम लेक्चर अपने उसका आगाज़ फरमाएंगे। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन। Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Agha sahab, assalamu alaikum.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम व रहमतुल्लाह।
कैसे हैं आप आगा साहब, खैरियत से?
जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
जी चलें, बिस्मिल्लाह फरमाया। बराए खुशनुदी अहले बैत अतहार अलैहिस्सलाम बुलंदतर सलावत अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद।
अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला सय्यिदिल अंबिया वल मुरसलीन व अला आलिहि तय्यबीन अत्ताहिरीन सियमा बक़ियतिल्लाहि फिल अर्दीन व लअनतुल्लाहि अला आदाइहिम अजमईन मिनल आन इला यौमिद्दीन सल्लु अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद व अज्जिल फरजहum. Inshallah, we will continue our discussion from yesterday, and the discussion was that can God create a stone that he cannot lift, that he himself cannot lift, not that other people they cannot lift, but he himself cannot lift. So we discussed that part. Now, what was the answer? Can anyone help me? Can we answer this question? You know that if we answer this question, no matter what we answer, this will end up that God is not powerful, right? Which means if you say, yes, God can create a stone which he cannot lift, if you say yes, if you say no, he cannot create that stone, then again, God is not powerful. Which means, as I said last time, let me make it simple. Can God create an unliftable stone by himself? Answer is no. Then our claim was that God is omnipotent. He can do anything. And even like yesterday, some of you mentioned beyond imagination. Beyond imagination. Now he's saying, no, look, you're claiming God can do everything, but he cannot do this task, which is he's unable to create that stone, unliftable stone by him. That's number one. Number second, if we say, no, yes, he can create that, then the second question will be, can God lift that stone? Of course, if he created an unliftable stone, if you're making that statement, which means the answer is no, he cannot lift that. Then again, if he cannot lift the stone, previously he cannot create it. Now he cannot lift it. So if the answer is no, then he's not powerful. And if you say, no, answer is yes, he can lift it, then again, the first statement is wrong, where you said he is going to create a stone which is unliftable. Now he can lift it. Which mean again, the first statement was wrong. And so no matter what you do, you try to give answer from whichever way, the answer in the end will be that you will say that he doesn't have a power. Let me see some comments here in the chats. I open the chat box. All right. Yes, so Pella, the answer from Maham is like, yeah, no, it's an illogical question. Very good. I think maybe when you suppose the stone is bigger and powerful than God, then why don't We worship it instead. That's the meaning of God. Yeah, that's right. The meaning of the God is different, right? It's a self-contradictory question. If we understand the meaning of the God, then we can say that he's all-powerful, right? If he's all-powerful, then there can be a stone bigger and greater than him. Again, the question is doubting God. And yeah, Alhamdulillah. I'm very happy that, that these young people, they're with me, okay? So I'm going to close this chat. Now, and then again, we talk about this another problem. Now we talk about that. Look, some people, the Christian, they call, or like atheists, they call it, says it's a omnipotent paradox. You can search that, omnipotent paradox, right? Which means they're saying you have two statements. One statement is God can do everything. God is all powerful. But then the second statement is God is not all powerful, and that's why it's a paradox. That's why it's canceling each other. He says, wait, we have this usul. We went through this practice yesterday. It says that, look, in order to create anything tanaqus, anything paradox, you need to have 8 conditions need to be checked. Are the subjects, is the subject is same in both statement? Is the predicate is same for both statement? Is the place is same for both statement? Is the time is same for the both statement? The conditions are same for both statement? Is it like both of them like potential or functionality wise they're same? All these things we discussed yesterday, right? Anyone is new here who was not there yesterday? Because again, for that person, it will be a little bit hard because we are not going through that detail we went through yesterday, right? Okay, so I assume no one is there. I hope no one is there. All right, and we gave this example, right? That Ali is a doctor, Ali is not a doctor. What's the difference here? Ali is a doctor, Ali is not a doctor. Which is not common? Subject is not common, right? Let me open the chat. Yeah, like, or you can call subject is not a different Ali, which is subject is not common. Or you can say the different kind of a doctor, that predicate is not common. Ali is afraid, Ali is not afraid. Different, yeah. Afraid of something, afraid of nothing. Or maybe like at night, you can say time-wise, like at night in the dark, he's like afraid, in the light, he's not afraid. Very good. Very good, Salman. What about the knowledge of Ali is complete? Again, this is like possessive noun, okay? So knowledge of Ali, which Ali, right? Maybe Ali, Imam Ali versus the ordinary Ali, okay? What about the area of Houston is 669 miles and the area of Houston is not 669 miles? That's like maybe we are looking, one time you're looking at metropolitan Houston, other time you're looking at city Houston, okay? Different Houstons, yes. Which means, but one time you're looking part of Houston, other time you're looking at the whole Houston, okay? Now, what about that, the way of my tasbih on more, or no, more way of my tasbih is, let's say 5 milligram, way of my tasbih is not a 5 milligram. What's the, it's that, remember that gravity? Let's say this my tasbih, right? Way on a different planets, right? On the moon, it's like, here on Earth is 6 milligram. On moon, it's 1 milligram, right? So again, now you understand that whenever anyone is claiming there is a paradox, there is a tanaqus, we say, all right, wait, we're going to check this one. Or like I mentioned that Ali is in is a senior year in medical college, and we are saying Ali is doctor, which means potentially he's a doctor. Or the other person is saying, no, Ali is not a doctor, which means he's not functionally, he's not a doctor. He cannot just write a medicine. He cannot write the prescription right now, right? So again, this is another condition. Or like I said that this part, if namaz-e-ayat is wajib, namaz-e-ayat is not wajib. What condition you're looking? Which part are you looking in this one? Namaz-e-ayat is wajib, namaz-e-ayat is not wajib. Yeah, I mean conditions. If there is a condition is this, that there is a natural disaster like earthquake or solar eclipse, something, then there's namaz ayat is wajib, otherwise namaz ayat is not wajib. All right, we got it. Alhamdulillah. I'm glad that you got it. Yesterday, I gave you a hint that, look, now we have to address this way. Now, I'm not sure right now, my slides are not in sequence, so I'm not sure that I have that slide or where that slide is right now. But remember that they were saying God is omnipotent, God is not omnipotent, all right? So I will say, let's check if we have a same subject. What's the meaning of God? What's the meaning of God? What's the meaning of God? Okay, we'll talk about it. So what's the meaning of the God is maybe God in atheist mind. When, again, and some of us, we were making a mistake that God can do unimaginable things, right? Look, God, as long as it's God, it cannot have weakness. As long as it's God, it cannot have a body. As long as it's all those things that, what was the name? Sifate? From the Sunday school I mentioned. Guys, Sifate Salbiya. God cannot have Sifate Salbiya. If anyone has a Sifate Salbiya, for example, God is weak. He's not a God. He's not a God. It's not that he got demoted from the God's position. No, he's not a God. God means God. Subject means. See, that's why you can say, look, this Ali is like this Ali. No, 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 no. They're brother, maybe they're brother. Both of their names are Ali, but they're different. But they're different. This Ali is different than this Ali. This is Ali Hassan. This is Ali Hussein. Yeah, they're young. They are like real brothers. They're twin brothers. Okay, they're twin brothers. But we are talking about two different. So when you talk about God, maybe in your mind, you're thinking that God who not have no sifate salabi. No, in our God, there is a sifate, which means as long as you say that God has a weakness, hey, this is not a God we are talking about. God has a body. No, this is not the God we are talking about. God can be created. God can be created. No, this is not the God we are talking about. Okay. So when you say that God with those positive attributes, what's the name of the positive attribute, guys? Sifate Sabutiya. Very good, mashallah. This is a review for your Sunday school. Sifate Sabutiya. With Sabate Sabutiya, the God he can do everything. Sifate Sabutiya, and this have Sifate Salabiya, he can do everything based on his attributes, which means he cannot have like weakness. You cannot say God be a weak. God can be weak. That statement is wrong. Okay? Because this God, definition of the God is like, remember that I brought that. Let me ask you this again now. Even if you want to open up the mic and tell me, why can't, like, let's say you are the best mathematician on the earth, best mathematician, right? You had the highest degree in math. Can you create a circle which is a square? At the same time, circle which is not like a puzzle where you switch the dimension, the different light, and you see now a circle now. No, you cannot. So are you not the best? Are you not capable mathematician? What's the answer? The thing you're asking has nothing to do with that. Mathematician mean he has this mathematics that he is not going to do illogical thing. And you're asking is illogical thing. That's not a mathematician's job. Okay. Now, I think Christians, they made this mistake. And some of us, we are making this mistake. That God can do everything beyond imagination. That's a wrong statement. God cannot do. Then they will see that someone will say, are you saying this statement? Then let me play the devil rules, right? What about if that's the case, God did split the river through Moses. He did unimaginable things. Can anyone answer? Let's participate. Because someone said that God can do beyond imagination. I says, well, this is a wrong statement. You says, no, Maulana, what you talking about? Look, God did split the river. That was beyond imagination. You know, normally the pebble there, they cannot talk. God make pebble do la ilaha illallah. The trees, they don't walk. God made tree walk towards Prophet Muhammad. God, you cannot make a dead person alive. Jesus made dead person alive. Beyond imagination. What's the answer? I'm waiting. Can God do everything or God cannot do everything? Can God do impossible? Let me ask this one. Can God do impossible? Yes. Then why can't he create this impossible of a stone? Why can't he create that impossible? All right. Yeah. Now you're reaching to the point. All right. How many kind of impossibilities are there? How many kind of impossibilities are there? All right. Let me help. We have less time. All right. So let's go help you. All right, guys. All right. Let's explore the various type of impossibilities. There are two kind of impossibilities. Okay. Logical impossibilities. All right. I should have just highlight something. All right. Logical impossibilities. And then we have ordinary impossibilities. There are two kind of impossibilities. All right. Now listen to me. Pay attention, all of you. Okay. There are two kind of impossibilities. Logical impossibilities and ordinary impossibilities. Then logical impossibilities can further divide into the impossibilities in their essence and other impossibility in their occurrence. Let me give you the example of the thing impossible in their essence. For example, the coexistence of contradiction. Night and day at the same time, same place with all those 8 conditions. At the same time it's night, at the same time it's day. That's logically impossible. In their existence, it's not possible. Because because they are tazad, they are opposite to each other. Whether it's dark or night, it cannot be dark and the night at the same time, at the same location, at everything same. You cannot do it. So logically, it's not possible. Circle cannot be logically at the same time circle, and the logically same time can be square. Why? Because the definition of the circle is that you need to have this radius equally from the same side of the radius, of the same time of the circumference. Squares, that the definition is different. At the same time something is circle, at the same time it's square. That's logical. It cannot exist. You cannot even imagine a circle which is a square at the same time. Can you imagine? In your mind, can you make a picture? Logically impossibilities, you cannot do it. Let me see. There are chats over here. Let me open up the chat. No. Okay, very good. I'm happy you guys are helping me. Very good. All right. Depends. What is impossible? Okay, very good. All right. Salman said, can we do everything in a different? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Now, and some of those impossibilities in occurrence, like for example, existence of an effect without having a cause. Let's say all of us, we are sitting in Azakhana-e-Zahra, right? And a child, he said, someone slapped me. And everyone said, no, I didn't slap you. No one slept. Anything, is it possible the effect happened without cause? Logically, it's impossible. Effect happen. Effect happen. There need to be a cause. There need to be a cause. That's called impossibilities in occurrence. Okay, we understand that part. Now the ordinary impossibilities. Ordinary impossibilities are, we think they are impossible because of the nature, the way we are living in the nature. We think it's impossible that fire cannot burn. It's impossible because in the nature, fire is burning. That's in the nature. That's an ordinary impossibility. Allah can make that cold. We are not saying that fire need to be burning and cold at the same time. No, it could be, it may become like a cold, it may become hot. Okay. We are not saying logical impossibilities. We are saying it's an ordinary responsibility that fire, Allah can put this effect sometime in the fire that it's not anymore. It's not, because in the nature, that's how we're thinking. You know, when Moses, he threw that stick and it became like a snake, that's also an ordinary impossibility. You can say, how, Maulana, how that's possible? If you bury a stick in the land, that will turn into clay, that will turn into the dust. And from the dust, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates several things, insects, and so many things get created by Allah. Like Allah created Adam by the dust. So yes, ordinarily that's not happen, but Allah can increase or speed the process. And let's say if you put like a stick under the ground and after like 10,000 years, that will become something, become a tree or something else. After 5 years, it's becoming a tree. Allah can increase the process, speed in the process. So this is like a ordinary impossibilities. Ordinarily, all the miracles of the prophets, there comes under ordinary impossibility, which means a person's heartbeat has been stopped. God can turn on that heartbeat can start again. Naturally, we think it's not possible, but near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's possible. It's not logical impossibility. Okay? You got it? So logical impossibility is paradox. Well, yes, you can say that. But again, like coexistence of a contradiction is a paradox. Logical impossibility. So you can know the reason I'm bringing this up, that God, okay, now you need to change the statement. Next time anyone asks, can your God do everything? You says, yes, everything which is possible and ordinary impossible. Okay, let me bring this up. I think I do have that slide. Oh, okay, before I go there, let me bring that statement. Yeah. Let's move the chat here. Look at this statement. All right. All right, let me come back on this later on. All right. All right, our statement, back to our exercise. God is omnipotent. God is not an omnipotent. That's a contradiction. Okay. We said, no, it's not a contradiction. God can do everything. Okay, let's remove omnipotent. We says God can do everything. God cannot do everything. We says God can do everything which is possible and under the circle of ordinary impossibilities. Like splitting the river, like changing a stick to a snake, big snake, able to speak, do kalama. These are all ordinary impossibilities. God can do this. When you say God cannot do everything, which means God cannot do everything, mean logical impossibilities. Now the mahmul, the predicators are different. This omnipotent definition over here is different than this omnipotent definition. You got it? I don't know if you got it or not. Please help me. Let me still look at your text. Ask your question so I understand where the confusion is. If there is any confusion, I will try to answer. All right. Let me go back again. Let me go back again. So the young people, they can understand. When we said Ali is not a doctor. Now we are looking at the predicate, right? So Ali is a doctor. What was the thing over there? Ali, this doctor and this doctor is different. These two statements are different. That's why you cannot say it's a paradox. You cannot say that. But then, because which means predicate are different. Now when you say God can do everything, that everything mean every possible and which one? Second, logical or ordinary? Write down. All right. Ordinary, right? So when you say God is omnipotent, which means God can do every possible and every ordinary impossible. But when you say God cannot do anything, God cannot do logical impossible. Why? Why? Why can't God do logical impossible? Because that's the way he designed it. If he's designed like a circle and your definition of the circle was circle, then either if it stays circle, it cannot be circle and square at the same time. It's logically not possible. Okay? It's not logically not possible. So again, whenever we claim Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir, that Allah is on every shay, is qadir, is like capable, we're talking about this God. And we're talking about this predicate. So there is no problem if God cannot create that. This statement is wrong. This question is wrong. Even if the God cannot do it, is still omnipotent, based per our definition. Your definition, Mr. Atheist or Mr. Christian, your definition of omnipotent is not what the definition we do. Your definition is wrong. Because the God, you cannot say the God can do, just you cannot say beyond imagination. Beyond imagination mean he can do ordinary impossibilities, not the logical impossibilities. All right, everyone got it? All right, let me help you with this, because let me tell you one thing, first of all. This question, any idea when this question started? Can you help? Can you help me when the first time this question may have started? When? In this like 100 years, 50 years ago? When the university started courses of philosophy or psychology? Well, even before the time of Imam Jafar Sadiq. Imam Jafar Sadiq said the first time someone asked this question, not this stone question. I'm going to bring another question from Imam Jafar Sadiq. Someone asked this question from Jesus, and the person who asked this question from Jesus was Shaitan. Okay, let's see what the question is. Look at this. So, an atheist asked Hisham bin Hakam. Again, there is a talk happening between Hisham and this atheist. Sa'ala Hisham bin Hakam. This guy, he asked Hisham bin Hakam. Faqala lahu allaka rabbun. Do you have a Rabb? Do you have a Lord? So Hisham replied, Qala bala. Yeah, why not? We do have a Rabb. Now he asked guys, the Qala aqadirun huwa. Is he capable? Hisham said, Na'am qadirun qahirun. Is capable. Now the atheist asked, قال يقدر, is it possible for him, is he capable أن يدخل الدنيا كلها البيضاء? Can he put this whole universe in an egg? And what's the condition? All right, Allah can put this in the egg, but let him make the egg big. Let him make the egg big, so he can put this dunya in the egg. He says no, with condition. La takburu baida. You should not make this baida, this egg need to be stay on the same size. All right. If the egg is stay on the same side, and this dunya, this world is so huge, then let God make the world is small. He says, no, wala tasghuru dunya. He should not make dunya is small. You see that the question? The guy is asking, can your God, is your God is capable? Sayyid Salman said that God is capable because the whole Quran is into the Ramadan. No, not that. That's not. I mean, that was not logically impossible, right? That was not logically impossible. Yeah, it's a good try, very good try. In fact, Imam answered the similar way. Like, let me explain first, okay? So all of you got it, right? The question, you got it. Right, this guy, a smart guy, he came from Hisham and says, well, do you have a Lord? He says, yes, I do. And he says, is he capable? He says, yes, he is. He says, all right, can you capable God, can he enter this whole world into an egg with two conditions? He should not make this egg bigger than the world, and it should not, number one, or he should not do like the world is smaller than egg. Hisham cannot answer that. Hisham said, and this guy said, I'm giving you 1 year time. 1 year time, and you can find out the answer. And this guy knew that Hisham will not be able to find. So Hisham came to Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. Hisham said, Mawla, what's the answer? Now here Imam said, Inna Allaha tabaraka wa ta'ala la yunsibu ila al-ajz. You cannot, the weakness or inabilities are not characteristic which are attributed to God. Which means you cannot attribute, la yansab means you cannot attribute ilal ajz. Ajz mean incapabilities, weakness. Wallazi sa'altani la yakun. What you're asking is impossible. So God, when Imam is saying, Inna Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala la yansibu ilal ajz, that you cannot relate Allah with logical impossibilities. Now, can someone explain why this was a logical impossibility? Why what was the illogical responsibility in this one? That the egg stays smaller and the world stay bigger, and then Allah can put that word into egg. Help me. What's the logical? How do you prove that it's a logical impossible? Very good, Maham. Very good. Well, not weak. Muhammad, you try, very good try. But weak means small. I think you mean small, right? That's why I understand. Yeah. So again, what's the logical impossible? Again, what this guy is asking, that egg, when it's small, at the same time when it's small, it's big enough. It's the same time it's small, it's big enough. How? That's logic. Either you have definition of small is wrong, or your definition of big is wrong. You yourself, I said, what's the definition of small? Small means small. Big means big. How can one thing be, how can this, that called combining contradiction? You cannot have contradiction at the same time. You cannot have one thing is small at the same time it's big. Either your definition of it is wrong, or your definition of it, or it's a logical impossibility. So the logical impossibility here is that he was asking one thing which is small at the same time it's big. That's logically impossible. Again, and then Imam, I was like, I didn't get that. I think I didn't put this in the slide, but I have another hadith where Imam said that these things la shay, that's not, they don't exist. Like I told you earlier, in your mind, you cannot create, even in your mind, you cannot think a circle which at the same time it's a square. Not even mind, you cannot create that thing, shay. And what we talk about, say, in Allah. So shay mean anything which is possible, or maybe it's an ordinary impossible. Right? Like remember that about 600 years ago, 500 years ago, for people, it was ordinary impossible to fly in the sky. But then what happened? People made airplane. They got that knowledge, right? And they were start flying, right? So now you can say that, hey, it was not impossible. At that time, we thought it's impossible. These impossibilities called ordinary impossibilities, okay? That's why ordinary impossibility, we think it's not possible. You think it's not possible. Like you from water, there will be fire come out, and you know that sometimes there are something in science, you can put something in it and the fire will come out from the water, right? So these are ordinary impossibilities. Logical impossibilities cannot exist. Okay, that's why Imam said that thing is not even shay. And the Quranic ayah is Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allah is capable on shay, on everything. But the logical impossibility you cannot even categorize as shay, thing. That's why it's possible. Question, anything? So omnipotent meaning, look at that. Omnipotent being has no limits. There are two meanings, okay? That one meaning, two meanings for omnipotent. Omnipotent meaning in the atheist mind or professor's mind or the Christian mind is has no limits and is capable of realizing any outcome, even a logical contradiction. But Islamic one, omnipotent being in Islamic terminology, who do all doable things, possible as well as ordinary impossibilities, but not logical impossibilities. So when you say Ali is a doctor, Ali is not a doctor, you say, hey, our predicate is different. When you say God is omnipotent, God is not omnipotent, hey, that God is not omnipotent, it's as per Christian omnipotent definition. God is omnipotent is as per Islamic. Okay, so yeah, that question is basically asking for logical impossibilities, and that's no one can perform. He said, even you, a best mathematician, cannot perform a logical impossibilities. Okay, doesn't mean that you're not a mathematician. Okay, omnipotent can perform all tasks. Omnipotent cannot perform all tasks. Okay, then that's what it is. All right, this is the answer now. The question contains a great contradiction. This question contains a great contradiction. It's not a valid at all because the power of God has nothing to do with irrationalities. Irrationalities, power of God. You guys need to take a snapshot, take a picture of this or something so you can remember. How can we be a God if he's unable to perform a task he created? That's why the answer that God cannot make a stone which he cannot lift does not lead to a paradox. Got it? Any question? I hope that answer. Is it clear for everyone, guys? Young people, my stars. Is it clear? Very good. Very good. All right. All right, inshallah. I'm going to let you go early today because I have to go and participate in this Yawm al-Quds, inshallah, here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your ibadat and ta'at, inshallah, for this month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all my Rabbani. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect Rahbar Muazzam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect Mujahideen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect Rahbar Muazzam, inshallah, and hasten the Zahur of our beloved Imam, and make us and our children his awan and ansar. May Allah give shifa for all the marda, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have maghfirat for all marhumin, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Rahimallahu man qari al-Fatiha ma'as salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Jazakallah Agha, bahut shukriya. So we finally got the question obviously answered, and the reasons behind why this question cannot be answered correctly, and why is this an irrational question or illogical question. So thank you so much for putting the time and effort in, everyone, asking the questions and giving the answers as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your contribution, and inshallah give you the tawfiq to increase your knowledge and your marifat more, inshallah. Let's conclude the program with dua Imam Zamana wa awaz ibn salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم كن لوليك حجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصل